name is Michelle Adkins, and I am an associate director with College of Business Administration's Career Services Office here at Kent. And so for the next hour or so, we're really going to discuss what we think that would be helpful to know for the College of Business Administration's virtual career fair, which is this Friday, October 2nd, and the sales career fair, which is next week on October 8th, including, how to navigate through Handshake, how to prepare in terms of things like your resume, your elevator pitch. And then we're going to wrap up with kind of some additional resources to help you get ready. And then at the end of today, I know we're a small group, but I've got plenty of time built in for Q&A. So no question is silly except the one that is not asked. So, and I'm actually joined today by Jen Benor. She's an academic program officer within the College of Services office as well. And she's just going to kind of help watch the chat and help us just kind of answer questions. And again, we're a pretty small group here today, so we should be able to get all of your questions asked. And as you see on the screen, a couple of expectations. You've probably seen these before, but just kind of want to go through a couple things. As I said, we are recording this. This will be available on our website, so if you want to take notes, you're more than welcome to, but this entire recording will be available. I'm not going to promise later on today, but I will say by tomorrow. We need to get it uploaded and then get it to the powers that be to get it up on our website. And I will ask you just kind of mute your microphone, only because that just helps to cut down on some of the background noise and some of the echoes and things of that nature. And if you do have a question at the top of your screen or maybe the bottom, depending on your teams, if you've had the update yet, there's a little hand. You can raise your hand. You can put something in chat. And between Jen and I, we'll get your questions asked. And again, we'll have lots of time at the end for questions. And it's quite possibly that one of your questions asked may be something that we're going to cover later on in the presentation. And if so, I'll just kind of say that. And then at the end, if we still have additional questions, certainly we can go ahead and talk about those.
Hey, Michelle, I just want to interject real quick. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. Susanna has her hand up. I don't know if she has a question.
Oh, yes, I did not see that. Thank you. Susanna, do you want to unmute and ask your question? And I think you're muted, Susanna. There should be a microphone. You should be able to.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Now I can hear you.
Right. I actually want to know what the virtual event is, because I have been saying it on my intro to professional development, and I always wondered that what is this course all about?
So I'm sorry, my internet was breaking up. What was you asking? What a career fair is? Was that your question?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. We're going to get into the detail of that today, but really what the career fair is, it's an opportunity for you to connect with employers on a variety of different topics. You could be looking for a job. You could be exploring different career opportunities. You could be searching out for internships. But in the simplest definition, it's an opportunity for you to connect with a bunch of different employers.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So as you can see, we've put a pretty rough agenda up there on our slide. So again, we're to talk about what a virtual fair is and a little bit how that's a little bit different from other career fairs. We'll talk about how to prepare as far as getting your Handshake profile updated. We'll walk you through the registration process, and then we've got some tips and things that we'll talk about, things that you can do to be successful that day. And then we will go through the mechanics of the day of. So how do you actually access the career fair? And again, at the end, we'll have ample time for any of your questions.
All right.
So let's just kind of dig in. So there are a lot of employers that are out here looking to hire. And they're registered for the Business Career Fair and the Sales Career Fair. And they're coming to this event and they want to talk to you. They want to be able to connect with our students. So let's kind of talk about what the Business Career Fair is. So both of these events are housed within the College of Business Administration. And the Business Career Fair, which again, as you can see, is Friday, October 2nd, consists of a variety of companies that are looking for a wide array of students for different business, internship, and professional positions. while the sales career fair is just that. It's focused on students that are looking for opportunities in the sales arena. Both of these are what we call live events, and they're going to give you the opportunity to connect with employers and learn about the open positions that they have that can get your career started. So as you can see, Business Career Fair, Friday, October 2nd from 9 to noon. The Sales Career Fair, Thursday, October 8th from 1 to 4. Now, each fair is going to include a series of one-on-one or individual and group video sessions in which you're going to have the opportunity to speak directly with recruiters and representatives about the possibilities and opportunities in their organizations. And the best way for any career fair is to be successful is to be prepared. So one thing that we are going to do is help you update your Handshake profile in order to get prepared. So let's get into that. Whoop. Oh, sorry, I got a couple different things going on here. Let's get out of that. So as you can see on your screen, Teams does not really allow us to do a poll. So again, we can use this or we can just use the chat feature. It might be easier since there's a small number of us just to use the chat feature. So in the chat session or the chat column rather, why don't you just kind of give me, you know, you can see how updated is your Handshake profile. If it's not at all, just type the letter A. If it's somewhat updated, but it needs some work, type a B in there. And if it's pretty close to complete, feel pretty good about it, put a C in the chat. Again, just kind of want to get a feel for how updated your Handshake profiles are. So we got a couple somewhat, we got one that's pretty close to complete. So, okay, good. So we'll go through these and hopefully what I talk about are things that you've already done or maybe just some things you might want to go back and fine tune. So, okay. So when we talk about preparing for Virtual Career Week as far as your Handshake profile, this is essential to being able to access all the opportunities that are going to be available to you through the fair. And you want to get your profile completion bar as close to 100% as possible. So as you can see on your screen, this is a picture of my profile. You can see over on the left, the profile is only 50% complete. That would not be acceptable if I was going to be participating in this career fair. So you want to get that as close to 100 as you can. Breaking down just a couple of things within your Handshake profile, one of the first things is your picture. And if you don't have a picture, I would encourage you to do that. Normally we could go to LaunchNet and we would take some nice professional headshots of us, but because that's not really an option right now, you can certainly do a nice professional headshot with just your cell phone, do it on selfie mode or have somebody take a picture of you, just kind of a nice head and shoulders shot, just to put into your Handshake profile. The next piece is what's called the My Journey. This is your summary, or you can think of it as an introduction. And this is where you want to include a short statement of who you are and what you're looking for, and maybe a little bit about your personality. The next section, your education. This information is automatically uploaded from Kent State, but be sure that it's accurate and that it reflects your most current information. And it's also extremely important to add your graduation month and year. These are not automatically pulled in the Handshake. And not having that field complete, it may impact your ability to participate in the fair. Your work and volunteer experience can be pulled directly from your resume, or you can type it in. But again, just be sure to keep it recent and relevant. So a few other things we want to talk about as far as your profile is the interest on your profile. These were initially set when you created your Handshake profile. And if you've had Handshake for a while, you probably want to go back in and update them. And these can make a difference in your search as far as opportunities, and also the things that you're able to participate in during the career fair. So make sure you take time that they're accurate and they're specifically the job type that you're looking for. And you also want to make sure that the locations and the roles is updated as well. In relationship to updating your profile, something else you want to do, and this is extremely important in your ability to participate in the virtual career fair, is you need to set your privacy to community. And you can see on your screen the settings bar. This will allow you to participate in both individual and group sessions on the day of the event. And again, you can do that by going to your settings and privacy under your profile icon. And then you will be able to select community. So before we move on, what questions do you have regarding updating your profile within Handshake? And again, don't worry about the smiley face, but just put in the chat if you have any questions about your Handshake profile. Okay, hearing none, I'm going to assume everybody is good. So, and at the end of today's presentation, I'm going to upload a Word doc that has a lot of different links and resources on it for you to prepare for the career fair. And one of them will have a couple things about using Handshake as far as getting your profile updated. So the next thing we want to talk about to really ensure that your everything is ready to go for the career fair is your resume, that it is up to date and it is uploaded on your Handshake profile. So a couple of things about your resume. First off, it should be clear, which means that it's easily readable in roughly 10 to 30 seconds, and that the most important information is on the top one half of that page. And it should be concise, which means it highlights some of your most recent and relevant work and volunteer experiences as they relate to the positions that you're applying for. And then third, it should be consistent, meaning that the design elements that you used are consistent throughout your resume, and it reflects the business industry and your personality. So for example, if you were let's say fashion merchandising or advertising, that may look a little bit different. So again, make sure it reflects the business industry. We recommend when you save that resume that you first of all save it as either a PDF or a Word document, and title it with your first and then last name, and then put a dash resume. So it'd be like Michelle Adkins dash resume before uploading it to your Handshake profile, just so it's easier to find for everybody. And you can have multiple versions of your resume on your Handshake profile. So for example, if you have different types of positions that you're looking for, you may want to upload a couple different types of resumes. And for the business and sales career fair, we will download your resume and they will be packaged into what we call a resume book and provided to our employers. So be sure that you get your resume updated and uploaded as soon as possible. And by default, your resume will be included in the employer's resume book. If, however, for some reason, if you do not want your resume included in that resume book, you will be given the chance to opt out when you register. And if you're unsure of how to upload your resume to Handshake, here's a screenshot that may be helpful. So once you log into Handshake, you will click your profile link in the upper right of your screen, and then scroll towards the bottom of your profile, and you should see a Documents button, as you can see on the screen. Once you click on that Manage Documents button, you should see the next screen where you can upload your resume, as well as other documents, and maybe something about an official or unofficial copy of your transcripts, or maybe you want to put a cover letter up there. And again, once your resume is uploaded, then the team here at Career Services will export that into that employer's resume book. So again, put in the chat any questions that you have regarding updating and uploading your resume to Handshake. And disregard the join by web and join by text, but just put it in the chat. So how about give me a yes if you're doing good so far? Just type in the chat. Are you doing good so far? How about a yes or no? Okay, good. So I know you're still there. Okay, let's keep moving on. Okay, so the final step that we have in preparing for the Business and Career Fair is actually registering for the event on Handshake. So this step is mandatory to your participation in the event. So
Hey,
unlike
Michelle.
other, yes,
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. This is Jen. Taylor had his hand up. I don't know if he had a specific question maybe about our last thing. I just saw it.
sure. Taylor, what's your question? And Taylor, you're muted, so unmute and go ahead and ask your question. Oh, okay, we're good. All right, so let's move on. Taylor did not have a question. So where we go? So again, so you need to, unlike other face-to-face career fairs where you might just walk in the morning of and you register right then, you need to register in advance for a virtual career fair. And then we're going to walk you through how to sign up for different group or individual sessions. I want to walk you through first, though, how to find the career and sales fair in Handshake. So in your Handshake on the events tab, which should be that main page when you log into Handshake, you will see at the top, as you can see, events. You would click events, and then you can filter by looking at career fair. So you can see up top, career fair is circled, and then you will start to see a list of events under there. As you can see on your screen, we've got the College of Business Career Fair and the Sales Career Fair listed there. So that's how you find those in Handshake. Then you're going to click the register button that you see next to the actual career fair. So we click the fair title, and then we're going to see the register button. Once you click the register button, you will be redirected to a short registration, we call it a survey. But this is where you can also opt out of the resume booklet if you prefer. So you're going to go through that short questionnaire, and that's how you're going to register for the career fair. And again, it's mandatory that you register so that you have the ability to sign up to meet with the employers and attend some of those group sessions. And additionally, it also guarantees that you receive any additional correspondence or information that will be sent out to any participating students. Once you complete that short registration survey, you will receive an email confirming that you registered. That email will include a variety of information to help you finish your registration process, because we're not done. So the next step is going to be to sign up for those different sessions in order to connect with employers. And again, the virtual fair consists of 30-minute group sessions and one-on-one individual sessions that last about 10 minutes. The 30-minute sessions are designed for employers to speak to a large group of students. They will share information about their company, opportunities that they have. They may talk about different career paths. There's a maximum of 50 students in these sessions. So while you may be able to ask questions, it may be difficult if there's a large number of students in that session, which leads me to the next thing. You will also have the opportunity to talk one-on-one with a company representative during an individual session. These individual sessions kind of mimic you walking up to an employer's table at a face-to-face career fair, where you introduce yourself and you engage the employer in a conversation about your career goals and any opportunities that they may have. We encourage you to sign up for as many group and individual sessions as you'd like. To sign up for the group and individual sessions, either click the Sign Up for Sessions button that you will see in your confirmation email, or log back into your Handshake profile, and you should see the career fair that you registered for listed under the Your Schedule column on your Handshake page. And then you will go ahead and click on the Schedule Sessions button, as you can see up on your screen. There's a sample there for you. And then you will be taken to a list of all the employers that are participating in the fair. This is where you want to read down through that list and research them to identify which ones you want to sign up for. And you can, again, see a sample on your screen over there of a couple different companies that are going to be at the fair. Oh, lost my mouse. There it is. Okay. When you go into the career fair in your Handshake page, you can scroll down to view the participating employers and openings that they have for those one-on-one and group sessions. If you want to search through that list, you can utilize different filters to narrow it down, to narrow the options for employers that are hiring for what you are looking for. And this page is updated regularly. So if an employer isn't listed, but they don't, or is listed rather, but they don't have any available sessions, which I don't think there's very many of them anymore. One thing you can do is check back throughout the week. You can also reach out to an employer from their handshake page, which is another thing that you can do to express your interest. Click on the link under the group session time to read a description of what will be discussed. And just to let you know, companies can have different group sessions to discuss different things. So make sure that you read the description before you sign up. That is where you will sign up for that group session. There will be a link right there. You can also click the link under the one-on-one sessions to see what individual times are available. And as you begin signing up for sessions, they will begin appearing in the Your Sessions column on the right side. As you see right now on the screen, there's no sessions there because I have not signed up for any, but you will start to see your sessions there. The system will not allow you to double book, but be sure that you're keeping track of all of the sessions that you're signing up for. And here's the thing, sessions are offered on a first come, first served basis. So be sure to sign up for them early in order to be able to meet with the employers that you're interested in. If you sign up for a session and you need to cancel, so maybe you found another session that you're more interested in and it's listed at the same time, you can do so by clicking on the Your Sessions on your Handshake dashboard. Then you're going to get a pop-up window with the details of your session and a button enabling you to cancel. If you do have to cancel, first off, Handshake is going to show you a warning just to make sure that promotes some professionalism and things of that nature. You will be able to join other sessions if they have availability up to a few minutes before they start. However, groups will max out at 50 participants, so don't delay on selecting another group session. As you are scheduling sessions, make sure that you allocate time for a short break. Maybe you need to get up and get a glass of water or let the dog out to go potty or whatever. And then you're going to be refreshed for your next session. And if you do try to double book yourself by accident, Handshake is going to give you a heads up and it's going to place a red dot next to the times that you already have a session scheduled. So I know that was a lot. So before we move on from registering, what questions do you have as far as how to register for the career fair or sign up for the different sessions? Let me go back over here to my teams. Does anybody have any questions before we move on? And again, I'm going to have resources at the end of today to review all of these things and give you additional support. Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on. So now that you're registered for the career fair, you really should probably start to think about what you want to discuss with these employers. So think about what is your goal? You know, how are you going to start the conversation with these employers? Your individual sessions, those one-on-one sessions, are going to allow you to speak directly with the employer. So you should make sure that you communicate effectively. You should develop an opening or a way to begin the conversation with the employer. One way is using what we sometimes call an elevator pitch, which is your introduction and your first impression to an employer. An elevator pitch, if you think of it, it's your tool to tell the employer who you are, what you've done, and what you're doing now, and what you're looking for. Craft what you plan to say, but don't try to memorize it word for word. Instead, think in terms of phrases or nuggets of information that you'd like to share. Use the past, current, and future method to craft and deliver your opening statement. Know what you're going to say and be comfortable with the content. But try to sound natural and not read off of a script or sound too memorized. The keywords, again, past, present, and future, they may help you as you deliver your opening statement. And as you're putting that together, here's a few things that you might want to remember. So first off, start off with who you are. So what's your name, what's your class rank or degree, and if you just graduated. The past, this is where you've been, which is a brief highlight of important experiences that you've had as they relate to the types of positions that you are applying for. This could be things like personal experiences, it could be volunteer things, it could be jobs, it could be internships, or it could even be coursework. Your current is where you are now, and this enables you to talk a little bit more about what you're currently doing, what your education is. It also provides you a chance to highlight the skills and personality traits that you have that make you a great candidate. So through your experiences, what have you learned or demonstrated that will be relevant to the employers? And then lastly, the what are you looking for or future is for you to highlight the types of things that you're interested in. And be sure to mention whether you're looking for an internship or a full or part-time job. So for example, we can see here we've got some bullet points and some nuggets of stuff we want to talk about. So we could say something like, hi, my name is Michelle Adkins and I'm a junior at Kent State University. And I'm working toward a Bachelor of Science degree in marketing, and I'm concentrating in advertising and promotion management. Through networking, I landed a part-time job at the ABC company, where one of my projects was actually assisting with some market research for a client considering adding escape rooms to their line of service. Currently, I'm involved with the Kent State chapter of the American Marketing Association, as well as I work as a career peer where I help students that are pursuing business careers, and that's where I realized the importance of really being able to verbalize my career goals. Moving forward, I'm really searching for an internship opportunity where I can really use my creativity and my out-of-the-box thinking to assist in the creation and launch of an advertising campaign. So again, who are you? Past, current, and future. And after you have kind of put those bullets together and you've put those nuggets of information together, practice it and practice it out loud and even run it by somebody else to get their opinion. Developing your opening statement is pretty much the first step of what you really should do to prepare for a virtual career fair. As you can see up here on your screen, here's a couple additional suggestions that you might want to do to make the most out of your career fair experience. First of all, know yourself. And this sounds a little weird, but what I mean is understand what your career goals are and be able to talk about them. You know, what are you looking for? How is this virtual career fair going to help you move closer to your career goals? And embrace your strengths and weaknesses. We all have them, but know what they mean in terms of internship and career opportunities. And another thing, research the employer and don't just read what they've uploaded to Handshake. That's a great start, but go to their webpage and learn about their products or services. Google them to see what you can find. Maybe they've been in the newspaper lately. What can you find about their company in terms of their successes and challenges? Develop a list of questions that you would like to ask during your individual session. So you've got your opening statement, but you don't want to leave it with just that. You need to take the initiative by developing questions that you want to ask. And here's the thing. Don't ask questions that you can find the answers to somewhere else, like, for example, on their company webpage. What you should probably do is ask questions that only the recruiter or that company rep can answer. You know, maybe you want to know what qualities are needed to be successful in the role that you're talking about. Or perhaps you're curious about the duties and responsibilities, or what a typical day looks like. And at the end of the presentation, I'll share another link that will help you develop some of these questions. And here's a few other things that I want you to remember. Listening skills. And there's a phrase that I like. It drives my kids nuts when I use this to them, but it says we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So be sure that you are actively listening. And if you miss something, ask for clarification. And lastly, this is really important as well, is make sure you take notes, especially the names and the email addresses of the people that you're speaking with. And whatever is typed into the chat, that is not really going to be available to you later. So make sure you cut and paste if you want to keep things in that chat. So open up a Word document or a Google Doc or whatever you use so that you can readily cut and paste things as you need to. So a couple things about Handshake. As the career fair approaches, Handshake will email you a reminder so you don't forget. And it could come around 2 days prior to the event. And it will remind you to check your schedule, and it'll include a few other details as you make your final preparations. Now, if an employer has to cancel a group or an individual session that you signed up for, Handshake will send you an email. And if that happens, you can go back into the virtual fair, back to your dashboard there, and you can sign up for another group or individual session with another employer, but you will be notified of that. So let's talk about the day of. Looks like we had somebody pop in, so let's admit whoever is here. And let's go back over to our presentation. So on Friday, October 2nd, again, that's the business fair. Thursday, October 8th, the sales fair. This is critical. Make sure you write this down. Use Google Chrome. Don't try to use Firefox, Microsoft Edge, or I'm drawing a blank. I know there's a couple others out there. Handshake works best with Google Chrome. So you will log into your Handshake and navigate to the event page to participate. From there, click on the Your Sessions tab. This will allow you to see and join all of the sessions that you're registered for. And you can continue to register for new sessions if they're available throughout the day of the fair, and that will be listed on that Available Sessions tab as well. Be sure you log into sessions on time and that you have a neutral background behind you, and you're in a location that has minimal distractions and background noise. And here's another one too. If at all possible, make sure you have a very strong internet connection. And if you're not able to access this on a computer or a laptop, you are able to do it on your phone. Once you enter your group session, you're going to be prompted with some basic housekeeping things, probably like we did today, muting your microphone, those types of things. Know where your audio and video settings are, so you can turn them on and off as needed, because in Handshake it's going to look different than what we are in right now. If you log into a group or individual session and the employer doesn't appear to be there, wait a few minutes. It's likely that their previous session may be running a little bit late. So just be patient and wait a little bit for them to appear. If you have any difficulties the day of the career fair, we have a couple different options for you. Handshake has a feature where you can request tech help. So I couldn't get a screenshot, but once you're in your session, you will see a settings button in the lower left of your screen. From there, you'll be able to report any issues you have or request tech help. And again, I'm going to give you resources that are going to outline what I just talked about in the Word document at the end of this afternoon. Another opportunity for you to seek help, that we, the College of Business Administration, our Career Services Office, we will have open help sessions for anybody that's going to be having difficulty. That will be housed in Teams, just like we are right now. We'll provide you with the link at the end of today. Those times will start a half an hour before the session starts. So the career fair one, the business one will start at 8:30. The sales one will start at 12:30. And we will be readily available to answer any questions that you have the day of. Just as you would with an in-person career fair, it's important to follow up with employers from the business and career fair after the event. So this could mean, replying to an employer email or sending a thank you note after the session, which I highly recommend you do. Be sure to ask for the contact information if it's not shared during the session. And again, write it down. We will have access to it after the fact if you miss it, but take notes if you can. So you could say something like, would it be okay for me to connect with you on LinkedIn after this? Or I'd really like to follow up with you and send you a copy of my resume. Can I have your email? Again, your resume should be in there, but this is another opportunity. Talk about it further and engage and continue that conversation. And I mentioned again, it's a good idea to take notes during that session so that you can write down the names and the contact people who you've talked with, write down some of the talking points so you can refer back to those when you're doing your thank you notes and follow-up letters and things of that nature. But here's the thing, remember to remain professional and try to find the balance between not communicating and over communicating with them. So for example, we said it's an appropriate request to send an email, a connection request on, say, LinkedIn, for example, to an employer that you've been communicating with. But you probably don't want to reply to an email, follow up with a connection request, and then send an email about the connection request all within about 5 minutes. So you need to kind of find that balance so you're not bombarding them, but you want to make sure you keep your name out there for them to remember. As you're communicating with employers, either you're doing your initial outreach or even replying to the different follow-up thing that you've done, you want to make sure that you're maintaining proper email etiquette. And there's a whole another video that I can send you that talks about those things, but a couple things, just make sure that your email has a subject line and your subject line is clear. Make sure you have a salutation, so like Dear Mr. Jones or, Dear Mrs. Flag or whatever. And a closing. So sincerely, talk to you soon, best regards, those types of things as you close your email. And double check for proper spelling and punctuation and grammar. This is probably my biggest weakness, and if Jen doesn't know that, she does now. So don't always rely on spell check. Reread those things to make sure everything flows like it should. And think of that email as part of your interview process, because this is part of that first impression that you're making to those employers. As we kind of wrap up here this afternoon, I just kind of want to summarize some of the things that we've talked about. So first of all, preparation. We talked about updating your Handshake profile with your photo, your graduation year, updating your interests, and making sure, this is key, making sure those privacy settings are set to community. And if you have trouble with that, reach out to us. We can walk you through that. Making sure your resume is up to date, preparing your opening statement, coming up with your questions. And then we walk through how to register for the event. And again, that's absolutely mandatory to participate. And then we moved into how to sign up for the different group and individual sessions. The third step is actually attending those sessions. And that sounds kind of silly, but don't sign up and not show up, because that looks really bad. So make sure you're attending those sessions, you're participating, you've got your questions and things asked. A couple other things to suggest here: wear professional clothing and be sure that you have a natural and a clean background. If you're doing this in your bedroom and you're in front of your closet and your closet looks like a bomb went off, close the doors. You kind of want a clean background there. And again, as best as you can, make sure you're in a place where you're not going to be interrupted. And if you're able to use headphones or a headset or something, I would encourage you to do that, because that does tend to cut down on a lot of the background noise that sometimes you get into, especially when you get into sessions of 40 and 50 people. And some of the last things we want to talk about, or that we did talk about rather, is after you've attended the different group and individual sessions, make sure that you follow up with the different recruiters and the employers that you spoke with. Do an email. I'm old school. I love the handwritten thank you notes. If you're able to do that, you follow up with them on LinkedIn, and just make sure you follow up on anything that you said you were going to do while you were in those sessions. I am going to upload right now in the chat. You see a picture of a worksheet, or not a worksheet rather, but a support sheet. I'm going to upload that into the chat. As that uploads, you should be able to click that and download that to your machine. There are a dozen or so different resources and links on there to help you prepare. Also on that list is the dates and the links for the open help sessions that we're going to have available the day of on the Business Career Fair. Is again 8:30 in the morning. You can log in to start getting help from us in the Career Services office. And then on the Sales Career Fair, you can log in as early as 12:30 to get any kind of help. And it doesn't always have to be tech help. It could be last minute prep questions. It could be, what kind of question do I ask my employer? It could be, hey, I want to run my elevator pitch by you. Can I do that? So we're there for anything that you would possibly need. That is all that I had prepared. And again, this presentation will be available. I actually will put my email in the chat here as well. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and drop me an email. What questions do you have about the business or the sales career fair at this point? Okay, if you have no further questions, again, emails there, you should have gotten the link that you were able to download. If you weren't able to download that for whatever reason, drop me an email. Be happy to email that to you. Anything that you need between now and Friday or now and next Thursday, we are here for you. So thank you so much for joining in today.